All right. The theme of ProEngineer version 5.0 is design without barriers. There's been a lot of improvements done to the system, mostly in the area to remove obstacles to progress and really increase the user interaction with the application. There's been a lot of advancements with faster 3D CAD design. Specifically, there's faster real-time editing features, which let you see your changes as you make them. There's also been changes to the way errors are handled in terms of uninterrupted modeling. So as those modeling inaccuracies start to come up, it'll help you work through those as well. There's also been improvements with workflow efficiency, making user interfaces a lot more intuitive and a lot easier for users to start off the bat and start to use, specifically helping streamlining sequential tasks, and doing previews of models as well. If you're interested in plastic or injection molded parts, there's been lots of work on the tools used in that, specifically for plastic and injection molding. The tools used for those specific applications have increased as well to help with those particular designs. And if you're interested in weld design and analysis, there's been significant increase in the modeling capability of welds. Up to now can model up to 10 times faster than they were able to in version 4.0. There's also been an increase in the graphical realism of the models as well. There's been almost a large increase in photorealistic rendering, so now you have a lot more control over perspective views and exploded states. You have a lot more control over background colors, foreground colors, reflections, lighting, contrast. All those really help to make the models really pop out and really appear a lot more appealing. The electromechanical design has two significant improvements as well. Cabling and piping, which are two of the big uses for ProEngineer as well, now have a more on-the-fly type interaction with them. So you can model cables and piping by picking specific points and routing it through there, whereas before it was much more difficult to designate areas for those analyses to go through. And there's also the new innovative Spark Analysis tool. This is an innovative program that will actually help predict where you might have a spark somewhere within your electrical system as well. So that's a new innovative design within ProEngineer 5 that's come out with it. And then there has been an increase in the power of the simulating aspect of ProEngineer 5 as well. We can now drive a slot motor around a curve, and there's also been additions done for belts as well. So now we have kinematic and dynamic belt coupling. And then as well, we can model not only elastic materials but plastic materials as well. When we're doing stress strain analysis within there, we can have plasticity modeling within the ProEngineer environment as well. In terms of machining, we've added in a new application there, so now that we can copy, save, and reuse tooling paths. So if you're doing the same type of roughing or finishing passes on a specific machining operation, you can save those parameters and reuse them in further operations. One of the most exciting improvements for ProEngineer version 5 is the interoperability between multiple CAD systems. So now they are fully compliant with Autodesk Inventor and SolidWorks within ProEngineer 5. So it preserves any 3D notes, annotations, and metadata in ProEngineer 5 between all those different CAD environments. And then a new development is with the social product work done within a CAD environment, specifically integrating between ProEngineer and ProductPoint, which harnesses some of that community knowledge you see in social computing technologies, things like wikis or toaster pop-ups and incessant messaging between ProEngineer applications. All right, so now we're going to switch over and we're going to look at a few videos we have on some of these capabilities as well. All right. So what we have in this video is your basic startup of ProEngineer, what you would see on a normal startup of ProEngineer 5, and the interface essentially looks pretty similar to what you've seen in previous versions of version 4.0 or earlier. Now when you're doing a opening of a file, you can do graphical searching as well. So you can visually try to select the parts or assembly files that you are searching for. And in fact, if you hover over a part, you get this 3D pop-up that comes available, and you can rotate that and view the pop-up before you even open the model. Once you actually open the model and begin working with the graphical user, there's you can save lots of different kinds of states within that model. So if you have several different orientations or exploded or unexploded states that you want to view in a model, you can save those and replicate them later on. And similarly to the file open, those states are listed at the bottom for you to look at different views. And once again, if you hover over those views, you get that 3D thumbnail pop-up. And this helps you switch between different orientations, different views, and different states very quickly and easily, all within the same file and at the same time. There's also been a change to the background color. There were complaints before about the not being able to control the background color. So now you have control over the background, foreground, and all the different colors in your model. So if you want higher contrast or lower contrast, you now have that option within the ProEngineer environment, or you can revert back to a previous version as well. The embedded browser within ProEngineer now supports multi-tab threading. So if you have multiple windows within Internet Explorer that you want to look at, for example, if you have a Windchill environment under one tab and a PDF file or a help file open on another one, you can open all of these within the Internet Explorer embedded in ProEngineer 5, which is very helpful if you're looking at multiple things at once in that embedded browser. The Help Center has also seen a large increase in terms of efficiency, especially when searching and exploring different help topics and options within there. There's been changes to make it a lot more user-friendly and a lot easier to find specific topics that you're searching for. And one of the really helpful benefits that has come out with ProEngineer 5 is the option to do a recovery mechanism. So this is similar to something you might see like in a Microsoft Word document. If the application crashes when you start the program back up again, you can actually recover lost information. So if you have a hardware system failure or a software crash and you don't lose the information that you were working on, you can recover all those configurations again on startup. So that's really beneficial if you have any problems with that or any fears of that kind of issue. All right, so now we see in this one more interactive model, and you can see in this one video we have some options here for those exploded view states, but you can also see that background. We have options to make it more reflective now and have reflection surfaces as well in the background. And now you can see within those states we can do a lot more graphical previewing of models, and as we make edits to the feature, we see real-time dynamic editing of the model itself. So as we make changes to specific dimensions, we can see the effects that those changes make in real time. So this is a vast increase or difference than previous versions where you might make a change and then have to regenerate the model and see the changes take effect, whereas now we can see directly the changes as they affect the product. And as errors come up during the modeling, no longer are you constricted to having to deal with them immediately. The errors can be delayed to further usage, or if you want to deal with them later, if you plan on making further changes that will address those errors, no longer are you locked into immediately having to deal with those errors and find a solution. You can delay them while working on other structures as well. The details within ProEngineer 5 are also vastly increased. You can now switch